are now listening to the Life of Produk Podcast.
Yeah, what up, man? It's the boy Product. We're now locked into the Life of Product Podcast. What's good with y'all? It is a beautiful Sunday, man. Yo, January was a very cold month. I told y'all I'm in North Carolina now. It usually doesn't get that cold on the side of North Carolina I'm in, but January, I felt like I was back in Brooklyn. It was freezing. It was brick. It was brick, boy. They building houses out here. Bong, bong. Happy Black History Month. Today's February 2nd. We had 2 days in the Black History Month. I love all of y'all, man. Nothing but positive vibes. Before we really get into this episode, I want to say, not to shift gears too much, but I want to say rest in peace and blessings, and condolences to the families and the victims of these things that have been happening these last few days. There has been multiple plane crashes, a helicopter crash into a plane. I'm praying that it stops because there's been about 3 or 4. One, we was like, wow. 2, 3, we was like, wait a minute, it just doesn't seem right. To the victims of the American Airlines flight, to the victims of the helicopter, to the victims that was in that neighborhood in Philadelphia who've been affected by it. We love y'all. God bless y'all. It is February 2nd. Let me tell you something, man. It's been a great weekend for combat sports. Great weekend for combat sports. Sports in general. The Knicks played last night. I didn't watch any basketball yesterday. I didn't watch any NBA. I didn't watch any college basketball yesterday. I'm not even watching them today. It's been a sports overload. I can't handle this. There's been too much going on. I mean that respectfully in a good way. There's been a lot going on. Yo, man, there was a UFC card yesterday. There was a boxing card yesterday. I think it was PBC. BYB fought yesterday. Shouts out the homie John Bernard, who's a friend of the show. He's actually going to come back on the show. Shouts out to Don P. Shouts out to Dot 5000. I didn't get to watch any BYB yesterday because it conflicted with my personal schedule and all of the other stuff that was yesterday. But what I love about BYB, once it's done, they air it live and then they put the whole episode, the whole fight card on YouTube. So I'm going to go back and watch that, because I'm really into that. Bare Knuckle is fire. Big respect to the bare knuckle fighters in BYB and BKFC. Have y'all seen how these dudes look when they walk away? Yo, shouts out to my cousin. One of my cousins is locked up when we talk, via JPay and all that. And he was actually in the New York State Golden Gloves years ago. And I was like, yo, I got that plug. So you trying to get back in that ring? He was like, yo, what, boxing? I was like, nah, bare knuckle. He was like, chill. He was like, I ain't doing that. He was like, when I come out, I'm gonna just be a writer and I'm gonna just chill and just relax. Which I don't blame him, But look, I got the plugs, brother. All I got to do is make that call for you. You know what I'm saying? But I feel him, though, because I wouldn't do it either. You know what? I told my son, I said, I would like to do just one fight. Just if they ever came to me, he was like, yo, one fight contract, celebrity fight. I'm not a celebrity yet, but, I kind of, people know me. If they came to me for one celebrity fight and the money was right, I'm doing it. If I could train for 3 to 6 months, I already got hands. But, and there's a whole different thing. A lot of people think they can fight until they get in the ring. They get done up. It is what it is. But if they put me in there with somebody at the same level as me, and y'all give me 3 to 6 months, I already work out 3 to 6 months to train and condition. Oh, dog, it's the fight's not going that far. It's really not. But hint, y'all trying to throw that money at me? Holla at the boy. You know what I'm saying? But it was a great weekend in combat sports. First of all, let's talk about UFC. That UFC call was crazy. It was crazy. When I got back in the crib and I was able to start watching it, I didn't watch the prelims. I missed the prelims. So I caught the fight before the heavyweight fight. I caught the end of that fight when the dude won. He was talking and whatever. I forgot who he said. They asked him who he wanted to fight after that. I can't remember. The heavyweight fight shocked me. It shocked me. I got a crazy conspiracy theory I came up with about UFC right now, but I ain't going to say it yet. I'm going to just shut up. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to disrespect nobody. Shouts out to UFC. I love UFC. I forgot the guy's name. He fought the fighter whose last name starts with a P. The fighter whose last name starts with a P. He won. I got issues with that because the fighter who won was on like a 3-fight losing streak. He was on a 3-fight losing streak. A lot of heavyweight fighters in UFC, a lot of them are not that conditioned. You know what I'm saying? They move a little slower, but they fall hard. So the fighter who lost to him, I watched his last few fights, and he's done amazing jobs. He beat the dude who Francis Ngannou fought and finished him with that uppercut. Y'all saw the meme with the dude neck. It kind of looked it looked like a Pez dispenser when Francis beat that dude with that uppercut. The dude who lost beat him, and he beat him so bad he split his lip and parted his face open. So to me, for him to lose last night, it just didn't seem right. It didn't sit right with me. I was like, But like I said, I'm gonna keep my conspiracies to myself. That MVP fight, MVP versus Magomedov, that was the fight of the night. That was the fight of the night, fam. First of all, Magomedov is no walk in the park. This dude was 15-0. 15-0. You ain't beating a Magomedov just like that. 15-0. All right. Just settle that in. To go UFC 15-0 and have multiple knockouts is amazing. He's already a legend. He's on that path to legend status, right? Now, MVP, shouts out to MVP. MVP has a very awkward fighting style. I like his fighting style, but it's awkward. He has an awkward fighting style. He fights like a video game character. The way he bounces and he's like this, he goes back and forth. He's tall. He's got long arms, so his reach is crazy. And he's got long legs. So when he bounces in and out of his strikes, you don't really know what MVP is going to do. And he packs a very hard punch. MVP is so good. He went from MMA to BKFC for a while. He fought bare knuckle and then back to MMA. So for a fighter to bounce back and forth between fighting genres and doing different fighting styles and fighting people of different fighting styles, that says a lot about how good that fighter is. You feel what I'm saying? You have a Clarissa Shields who can do that, who fought PFL and went back to boxing and has been undefeated in boxing. I think she was undefeated in PFL. I can't remember her record. But back to MVP. That fight with MVP last night in Magomedov was crazy. That was a crazy fight. I honestly did not know what direction that fight was going to go in. And I had multiple talks with other people that are really into boxing and MMA, and they all said the same thing. They didn't know. A lot of people was betting on Magomedov to win that. I thought Magomedov had a better chance if he focused more on grappling for that fight. Usually with that, when you fight a fighter like MVP with the long legs and in and out, you want to kind of kick their legs. Multiple fighters have tried that with MVP, and a lot of them still weren't successful with doing that. I knew Magomedov was going to lose during that first round. MVP was running him that first round. Now, that fight was 3 rounds. Had that fight went 5 rounds, I think Magomedov would have had a better chance of winning. I think Magomedov would have got him. There was a point early on in the fight where Magomedov got him in a chokehold. And I was like, oh, it was a wrap for MVP. He got out of it. But that shows how good MVP is. I'm pretty sure Magomedov corner, I'm pretty sure that they train hard for that fight. But the question is, how do you train to fight a fighter who's not orthodox? He's a very unorthodox fighter. How do you do that? He's bouncing around the whole fight. He has great boxing abilities the way he will back all the way to the cage and slip and roll out. And he turns his shoulder very well, which kind of it allows him to do somewhat of a shoulder roll. So if you're trying to punch him, it's going to roll off his shoulder, especially if you throw a jab. If he's moving and he's turning that shoulder, you kind of want to kick the calf, or you want to hit him with a body shot to kind of slow him down. Magomedov threw some decent kicks during that fight. None of it was effective as it should have been. Now, he got good hits in. But it just wasn't enough. And MVP jab was too good. His jabs were too good for Magomedov. On the boxing end, that Isaac Cruz fight, that fight was good. That to me, I like the David Benavidez fight, him and Morrell, but to me, the Isaac Cruz fight was the best fight of the night on that card. I'm mad that I missed the prelims for that. I missed the Kermel Moulton fight, so I'm gonna try to go back and watch it online. I really like Kermel Moulton. Isaac Cruz, I think he won that fight, but at one point I thought it was going to be a draw. I saw that fight going to a draw. I think for Isaac Cruz to have beat him, for him to beat Rolly, for him to win the distance with Gervonta Davis, I think Isaac Cruz is on a path to being great. I just want to see Isaac Cruz change up his, I don't want to say fighting style, but I want to see him change up his training. I want to see him throw more jabs. I want to see him in and out more. I feel like by him moving steady how he is, these fighters he's fighting are learning how to fight him. They're learning how to fight him. That's why he won this fight, not with a knockout. That's why he lost the last fight. G is the boy product, Life of Produk Podcast, episode 133. We will be right back after the break with the second segment of the show. Gia, what up, man? It's the boy Product. We're now back with the Life of Produk Podcast. If you need sponsorships, advertisement, interviews, it is lifeofproduct@gmail.com. That is lifeofproduk corporate@gmail.com or corporate.ent, that is corporate with the K, .ent@gmail.com. Let's get your brand out there. Let's get your music out there. Speaking of music, my youngest son was in the studio this weekend. Yet two of my sons make music. He was in the studio this weekend, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I'm proud of him. He sent me a record, and I sat and I listened to it yesterday. And I sat in the driveway. I pulled in the driveway. I'm listening to the record. I didn't even get out the car, and I was like, "Yo, this record is amazing." I'm not gonna lie to y'all, and I'm one of those parents. If my kid made music and it's trash, I'm gonna be like, "Yo, this is trash. You don't need to ever go in the studio ever again." The record was so good. Listen to me. The record was so good. It's got potential to, if it was to blow, it would have longevity for like the next 10 years. I'm not even playing. That's how good. I'm proud of him. That is how good the record is. It shocked me because it's funny because my oldest son produces, and he doesn't like rapping. It's just not his thing, but he produces. My youngest son, he plays violin, he plays keys, and he raps, he writes, he does a little bit of singing. He would never play his music for me. My oldest son send me beats all the time. I'm listening to him like, "Yo, this is fire." My youngest son would not play nothing for me, but for some reason, he sent this record. And I've been asking him for like 2 months, "Yo, send me your music. I want to hear it." He went and sent it. This is the first song he sent me, and I was like, "Yo, this song is dope. It's dope." So shouts out to him. I'm proud of you. I love you, man, and I'm going to help you as much as I can. We're going to take this as far as we can. G is the boy product, Life of Produk Podcast, episode 133. Today's episode is titled "Last Year Is Not This Year." Last year is not this year. You know, I talked a lot about sports on the first part of the show, but for the second segment, I kind of want to change the trajectory of it and get a little serious. A lot of us, I don't like talking politics with people because my views might not be as your views. I don't want to offend anybody, whatever. A lot of us are not happy about what's going on politically right now in this country, but at the end of the day, we still got to get up. We still got to function, right? Last year is not this year. A lot of us have pain from last year that we carried into this year. And a lot of us don't know how to shake that pain off. And I told y'all, for me last year, I had really, really great moments last year, but some of it wasn't good. Some of it was bad. I had great moments last year, but some of it was bad. The problem is with fixing your current situation to release that pain. A lot of us, we don't know what the starting point is. We don't know. And then there are constant reminders of how bad that was. And speaking of a reminder, for me, it was crazy because, so I told y'all, my mother passed away in 2020, in March of 2020. My uncle, which was her little brother, he passed away in January, 2 months before her that year. And my mom's and my uncle was like this. That was her little brother. They was like that. My uncle was like a second father to me. You know what I'm saying? My Uncle Poop was like a second father to me. He was my favorite. Him and Uncle Tony is my favorite uncles. I tell people all the time. You know what I'm saying? I got love for my other uncles. I got a couple of them that passed away. One's still living that I rock with. I just haven't seen him in like 4 or 5 years. And I've been seeing him like 5 years. I haven't spoken to him in about 3 or 4 years or whatever. And I hope he's doing good. I got another uncle I don't rock with. This dude, I don't like him. You know what I'm saying? But my Uncle Pooh was like a second father to me. He was what I loved about my uncle. He did the same, values he implemented in me, the same love he showed me. He did that for my kids. My kids was crazy about my uncle. They loved Uncle Pooh. You know what I'm saying? They would want to spend more time with him sometimes than me because they know he was going to give them everything they wanted. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time I had to work. My uncle came through, watched my son for me. I got home. My uncle, he had my son watching Jerry Springer. And for them, it was Jerry Springer, cartoons, and wrestling. You know what I'm saying? That was a thing. You know how, on your iPhone, when you swiping left and you going left or whatever from your home screen, and it shows you those photo memories, whatever. So my uncle passed away in January of 2020, like right before the whole COVID thing got bad. His funeral was, I believe, February 1st. I believe it was either January 31st or February 1st. That's why the memory popped up. And I'm not going to lie to you, I immediately got sad. I got sad immediately. Immediately got sad. And the reason why I got sad is because my uncle, he dealt with health issues before he died. At one point, my uncle moved in with me. He was living with me or whatever. And, we were always close. We never had a falling out. We never argued, never. My uncle kind of, sometimes people tend to let themselves go. My uncle started drinking a lot. He always drank, but he started drinking a lot. drinking a lot, partying a lot, running the streets. And it's like after a certain age, you gotta chill, brother. You can't do that. And I had multiple talks with my uncle to just try to bring him around and try to tap in and see where he was at. And those talks didn't really resonate properly with him. They didn't really do much. It seemed like my uncle had kind of gave up on himself at a certain time in life. And it got so bad, I had to put my uncle out. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I haven't forgiven myself for that. Putting out a family member is hard. Putting out your favorite uncle, it was painful for me. Like, it was really painful. Like, watching him move his stuff out and getting his boxes together, it hurt. It was one of the hardest things I ever had to do, and I'm probably never gonna forgive myself for it. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm getting a little emotional talking about it. That was my kid's favorite uncle. You know what I'm saying? Him and Uncle Tony, my favorite uncles. It was their favorite uncles. When I put my uncle out, his health declined. It declined very fast, like fast, and it was like, wow, like, you know what I'm saying. So I remember, he had when he had found like a program, and he had like a crib in Queens or whatever. I never went inside the crib, but I would look. I dropped him off a couple times, whatever. A couple times I actually pulled up and I called him. I was like, "Yo, Uncle, I'm outside. What you doing? Come downstairs." He ran downstairs. We talked. I would let the kids see him and stuff like that. But I noticed, like, after a few times visiting him, he started looking different. His health was declining, and it was hard because it's really hard when you see a family member going through something that you don't have the ability to help with. I couldn't help him. It was just bad. It was just really bad watching that. I remember one of the last times I saw him, we had a birthday party for my mother. It wasn't the last time. It was the second to last time I saw him. Second to last time I saw him, we had a birthday party for my mother, and he was there. He just looked really, we're all happy. Everybody, boom, boom, boom. We actually had that birthday party that year. That was in 2018. We had that birthday party back in Brooklyn, right down the block from the P's that they grew up on. So the side of the projects, they was from Kingsborough. I think they was from the Pacific Street side. And down all the way at the end of that block, there's like a little room or whatever, like a little, you know what I'm saying, like a little mini hall that you could have like birthday parties in. And we had it there. And, seeing my uncle there, it was great. The kids got to see him. Everybody, family there, whatever. But just seeing him not in the element or the mental space that he was always in. He was always that uncle that was happy, cracking jokes, playing cards with everybody, even just chilling, whatever. Just seeing him and just where he was at that time, it was sad. And it was crazy because I took a picture. I had my one of my cameras at that time. I took a picture with it. Took a picture of him from afar. And I don't like to look at the picture no more because I could see the sadness in his face. You feel what I'm saying? So it was by seeing that photo pop up on my iPhone memories, even though it wasn't pain from last year, it was pain from 5 years ago. I still carry that pain to this day. And I'm going to keep it real with you. I don't know how to release it. You know what I'm saying? I don't, whether I release that pain or not, to me, I kind of accepted it. But I always felt since he passed away, like I let my uncle down. And it's a horrible feeling, man. It's a horrible feeling because me and my uncle, we had great memories together, like really good memories together. I remember one time I was about to get into a fight with somebody, and I was about to put crazy hands on this dude, and my uncle kind of stopped me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And it was over. I didn't start it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad he was there to like kind of talk me out of that because at the end of the day, it kind of the situation took me out of character, and it was like, come on, man, I'm bigger than that. At the time I wasn't even living in New York no more. I was visiting New York. At the time, I believe I was in college and all that. Yeah, it was a crazy situation, but all in all, man, I love my uncle. We need to find some type of way to release this pain that we carried on, whether it was from last year or from before that. G is the boy product, Life of Produk Podcast, episode 133. Last year is not this year. We will be right back with the third segment of the show. Yeah, what up, man? It's the boy Product. We're now back with the Life of Product Podcast. Again, if you need sponsorships, advertisement, interviews, it is lifeofproduct@gmail.com or Korporate.Ent@gmail.com. Let's get your brand out there. Let me tell y'all something, man. When it comes to a lot of things, all I got to do is make a phone call. That's it. Like the homie DJ Block came on the show last year, and he said sometimes you got to just ask. How you sometimes a no is really in your head. It would really be a yes if you just ask, but a lot of people are prideful. A lot of people are afraid to just step on and be like, yo, hey, mom, what's good with this? Holla at your boy, man. Episode 133. Last year is not this year. Last year is not this year. I totally believe that if the pain from last year did not follow you into this year fully, or it's not haunting you from this year, leave it. If it's not haunting you from last year, leave it there. Don't rehash it. Don't rehash it. I'm a firm believer in protecting your mental health. I believe mental health and our mental spaces are some of the most important things that we can protect. You got to seal it away. The term "New Year, New Me" was drug out for years, and people laughed at it. But I'm a firm believer that it holds as much weight as it did when it first came out. New Year, New Me. Let me tell you something, man. Even when it comes to social media, if people unfollow me, I don't get mad. If you unfollow me and that made your life better, unfollow me. I unfollow people all the time. I do more than just swipe up. I do more than I will unfollow. I will block. I randomly block people that was either following me or I just saw an explore page and I did not know them. You know why I block those people? To protect my mental health. If I see you and you want there, if you got a podcast and you want there talking this, you chatting and you bang bang bang, I'm gonna block you because I don't want to see it on my explore page. If other people posting it, I'm gonna block them. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see. I have people that I personally know who I seen posting stupidity and I've unfollowed them. Some of them I blocked. I don't want to see that. So if me unfollowing and blocking people is going to protect my mental health, then that's what I'm going to do. We are triggered. We're human. We are human. We are human and we are triggered by everything we see, everything we hear, everything we touch, the people that we interact with, and the things that we go through. So we need to stop pretending like we're just these super beings and nothing phases us. Nah, I'm phased every day. Every single day, I see things that bother me. It might not bother me to the point where I'm mad, but I see things every day that bother me. But not many other people are going to admit that. I am a grown man. I am a human being. Within the last, I say, recent whatever years of my life, I really tapped into my inner self and my emotions. I really have. And to me, it was one of the best things I've ever done. I was raised up in a household to show your emotions, and I still didn't show my emotions because of the environment that I was raised in. The environment that I was raised in, I could be myself at home. When I walked out of 712 Crown Street in Schenectady, I couldn't be soft. Couldn't do it. I could not do it. A lot of the people I went to high school with when I moved down south have no idea what I went through as a freshman in high school, what I went through in junior high school, well, y'all call it middle school, but we in Brooklyn, we call it junior high school. When I went through 6th, 7th, 8th grade, they don't understand what I went through. I could not be soft. There was no window to say, hey, it's from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. You could just be soft. You could be you today. Nah. And I'm not saying anybody who's quote unquote soft is this person or a bad person. No, but at the end of the day, the environment I came from did not allow that. It didn't. I wasn't allotted a window to say, let me be myself for 3-4 hours. Wasn't happening. So by me carrying that for all those years and finally getting to a point the last few years of life where I said, you know what, I could take a breather. You know what I'm saying? It was the best thing ever. It was the best thing ever. I noticed by doing that, my mentality changed for a lot of different things. There are things that I went through last year that I only family know, only close people know. There are things that happened last year I've kept to myself, and I believe in keeping. I was raised in a household where you don't go spread whatever happens in this household outside. I was raised, but a lot for some reason, a lot of y'all don't understand that, man. Y'all are weird, yo. Y'all are weird, and I mean that respectfully, but a lot of y'all are weird. It's like as soon as the camera and the mics come on, bomb. Guess what I did? I ain't go to jail yet. Why do y'all do that? You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother story. But I was raised in a household where you just don't go tell your business. So there are things that I've had happy moments last year that I've kept to myself or only the close friends or slash family members, because at the end of the day, the world doesn't need to know every moment of your life. It doesn't. Let me tell you something. There are people that still wear the pain of last year on their face. You can see the pain on their face. They might smile at you. They might say good morning. They might not say nothing, but you can see it. I've had moments like that. I was at a 7-Eleven down here. You know what I'm saying? And this was, I remember this. This was last year. And I walked and I was having a horrible day. Like everything was going bad from the time I woke up to whatever. At the gas station, it's probably like around I probably stopped at like 11 o'clock, and I wasn't getting gas. I just went in there for like probably like a coffee or something like that. And I'm walking back and forth past the cash register because I forgot something. I'm going back, and the girl was like, "Hey, Mister, I hope you have a good day today." And I was like, "Wow, yo, a stranger. Sometimes a stranger can turn your whole day around by not even just giving you a compliment, but just interacting with you." She didn't say, "Hey, Mister, you look nice today." She said, "Hey, Mister, you smell nice today." She said, "Hey, Mister, I hope you have a good day today." And it changed my whole day. My whole day. I immediately said, "You know what?" I snapped out of it. I snapped out of it. We do good deeds and we don't even realize we do good deeds. But I guarantee she could see the pain on my face because I was really going through it that day. Really going through. I won't disclose, everything I was going through, but it was kind of bad. It was bad. And at one point during that day, my thought process up until she said, "I hope you have a good day," was way over here. I mean, way over here. Real talk. But like I said, we're human. We're allowed to be human. What we're not allowed to do is to stay into that frame of mind. We're not allowed to stay in that frame of mind because that dark frame of mind. If you're sitting here listening to this now, and it's February 2nd, and you're thinking about everything that you went through last year from January to December 31st, everything was bad for you. It carried over into January this year. It's carrying over into February. Think about this, right? There are people that didn't wake up today. There are people that will not go to sleep tonight. There are people that woke up today and possibly took their life or will take their life before the sun goes down. And the crazy thing about those people, how you're feeling right now is exactly how they felt before they made that decision. You feel what I'm saying? So you owe it to yourself to second guess doing that. You owe it to yourself to say, not today. You owe it to yourself to say, maybe I'll do that next week. You owe it to yourself to keep pushing that thought back as far as you can to the point where you have reasons to still live. And I'm saying that respectfully. I'm saying that respectfully because I might be the dude that I'm the dude. I don't comment on everything I see on social media. Very, very rarely. I only comment on stuff. It got to be family or something very funny for me to comment on. But I watch, read, and I listen. I read between the lines very well of a lot of things. And I could recognize a cry for help a mile away. Easily, because I've been that person at a certain point in my life, early on in my life, where I bottled everything up and my cries for help possibly weren't answered or possibly were answered. I've seen it and I've experienced it. G is the boy product, Life of Produk Podcast, episode 133. Last year is not this year. Last year is not this year. I don't care what you're going through. Seek as many happy moments as you can. I want you to take all those happy moments. I want you to put them in a bag. I want you to throw it over your back like Santa Claus. You know what I'm saying? Listen, don't look at me like I'm corny. That was fire. That was a ball right there. Throw that sack of happiness over your back like you Santa Claus, and I want you to walk proud. G is the boy product. I'm out, baby. Talk to me.
You are now listening to the Life of Produk Podcast.